Hi, everybody. It is Crystal and Celeste. Long time no see, right?
Yes. Our
Thing-
positive living community, we want to just check in with you guys.
Yes, checking in because so much has gone on since we've last posted any videos in this community. And like Crystal said, we want to check in because there's a lot going on, with this COVID situation, with quarantining, stay at home orders. Um, what else? Yeah, and life is still happening amongst all of this. So we want to come on here today and we're going to talk about self-care. We're going to talk about social support in times like this because with everybody at home, like what is your house like? Like we know what our house is like. Everybody's working from home, the kids are at home. So what are we doing, to maintain sanity? Basically, and as life is happening, things are still going on, and it's just the way life rolls. And so first of all, we want to say, continue to do those things that you enjoy. Maybe going out was your thing and now you're being forced to stay at home, but there are so many other things that you can do while you're at home. Like I'm finding all type of things to get into. I've been tapping into oils, trying to figure out how can I, even better my health, because I consider myself a healthy eater. But that's like even enhanced more now, with this virus. And so yeah, I'm having fun with oils. I'm having fun with recipes. I'm having fun in the kitchen. So you just have to find those things that, okay, I'm not able to go to my favorite place, or, I can't leave the house, or if I leave the house, I got to have a mask on. But there are still things that you can do at home. So what are some things that maybe you've been doing, Crystal? I know your schedule is busy, but what have
Yes,
you been doing with having, being forced to stay home?
force. I think that word right there is hit home. So now just I have to be creative with the things that I do. Like you said, getting into different things and hobbies and going to school right now. So I'm pretty busy, have a client load, but I make time every day to go outside at least 30 minutes, whether I'm doing some kind of physical activity, getting sun, making sure when my home office that I have the window, the sun is coming in. So that self-care part and then eating healthy
Yeah.
helps me to have my emotions to regulate those when maybe we feel like this isolation is really getting to us, and being creative and talking, having support from friends through Zoom meetings, FaceTime,
Yeah.
while we work on home tasks, and
Yeah.
creating a routine. Yes. So working from home, I think me having a routine keeps the peace, the sanity, keeps me level headed and
Yeah.
changing up my work environment. So those are the things I've been doing.
Yeah, that's good. And then taking that time too, like that would be the next self-care tips if you're taking note. Take that time, demand that time. Just because you're not able to go anywhere, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't have to have a schedule. Like we need schedules now even more so because, people are working from home. So you have to have that time. Okay, these are my work hours. So it's not, filtering into family time or cooking or your hobby. Like you have to have that schedule. I think for me, being forced to stay at home is making me probably more disciplined, I guess.
Yeah, I
Because
think
I'm not just able to come and go. So now it's like, okay, I'm spending so much time at home. So, I have to make that time for, my friends. I have to make that time for, videos for this community. Like it's I'm not against, I was never against, creating or making or adhering to a schedule, but even more so now. So perhaps you can demand that time too, okay, kids, we had school earlier, you had your time. Now this is, my time, husband, wife, spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever it is, significant other. This is my time. Like have that time for yourself. Cause if not, you'll be all over the place and you won't ever have a cutoff time. So just demanding that time, make it a priority, make, going back to what I just said, but make it a priority. Like, everybody knows, like, they're looking at their watches too, like, oh, I got to get this in because at a certain time she's going to cut me off and it's not going to be my time, it's going to be her time. How do you, cope with schedules? I know you're a pretty scheduled person too.
Yeah, I'm structured. I try to go with the flow, but sometimes that doesn't always work out. Having several Zoom meetings, homeschooling, my son, making sure he's on classes, I'm on class and on time for meetings and getting the things I need done. So it is a juggling act. So like you said, routine, scheduling, like, hey, maybe I have to plan a meal. I think the positive part, I'm able to cook more, saving gas.
Mhm.
Um, like you said, being self-reflective, like we're getting out of autopilot, we were go, go, go. So now being more mindful of the tasks, the things that we're doing. Oh, how long is this taking me? Am I wasting time? And so, not being able to procrastinate and having time to set those specific goals or measurable goals that I want
Yeah.
to obtain. As far as health wise, me eating healthier, I think I'm able to cook more, like 3 meals a day. So I'm like, okay, in between all of that. So it's definitely a packed full day. Um, yeah, I think, like you said, prioritizing that is,
Yeah,
is really
yeah, that's
important.
good. I'm glad you said set goals too, because like this morning we woke up and we were like, okay, today is gonna basically be a spa day, where we focus on our face. And that's what we did. We got up this morning, we did our skincare routine. And although we do this like every day, but today, we was like intentional, we're gonna make sure we, put that vitamin C on there. We're gonna do our vitamin E because now the weather is changing, new season. And, for both of us, Jan and I, for some reason in spring, and I guess that's normal, people are cutting their grass, there's pollen in the air. So we have to do extra stuff. So we was intentional about that. Okay, today's self-care is going to be, focus on our face, and we're going to give a little bit more attention than we would, normally. So setting goals, setting that goal, today I'm going to do this for myself, and then making it regularly, make it, periodic, like, okay, we did it today, but perhaps, I don't know, every Saturday for the next 6 Saturdays, and then maybe the focus will change. But just having a goal, having something, being intentional about whatever your self-care is going to be, and then doing it. And then before you know it, it becomes a habit and you're not forgetting about it or whatever. So yeah, glad that you said that. And then, like we kind of said earlier, setting that boundary to protect your self-care, like, I self-care no matter what,
Yes,
I will
that
not
helps me
depend.
with that.
Yeah, like, I will not attend an event, if I said that I was going to do this, or if this is more important for me. And then it goes back to that, this is a psychological self-care tip, I will call it. If it doesn't feel right, if it's something in your gut telling you, to say yes or to say no to something, then you should do that and be okay with it. Don't worry about what the person is thinking, like, oh, I don't want to make them feel bad, because now you're trying to be a people pleaser, and that
That's
that right
exhausting.
there, yeah, is enough to send you off your rockers too. So you have to have that psychological self-care for yourself too. If you don't want to do it, be okay. It's okay to say no, and it's okay to say yes. Maybe you're that person that always says no, and now you should say yes to something. Shonda Rhimes' book, oh my God, what is it called? I think it's called My Year of Yes, or something like that. And that's what she had to do for herself. She was always a no, 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 no person. But for 1 year, she was saying yes to good things. So that too is also, part of your self-care. What do you have to say about that, Crystal?
Wow, that's definitely something I had to work on, me being a workaholic sometimes, having to balance to say no and set that boundary that I can't please everyone. I'm not everyone's cup of tea, and it's okay. showing myself that compassion, like not beating myself up if I wasn't able to do something, or feeling exhausted because I did say yes to it and I'm like, why did I do this? So I think keeping stuff in perspective and balance is important through this process, and that's why we're here to talk about these realistic things, what we're doing for ourselves for self-care, and then how to incorporate it. And maybe, yours will look different. Everybody's self-care is going to be different, doing those things you enjoy, so that may look different for you.
Yeah. Also, Krista and I, we love mindfulness. We love meditation. So I'm an essential worker, so I still have to go to work, but having, I guess, 2 minutes or 5 minutes of something for yourself is better than not doing it at all. So I'm not able to meditate as long as, I want to. For me, 25 minutes, 30 minutes is like the perfect meditation, right? But that hasn't been able to happen. But I'm like, okay, well, let me at least get 2 minutes in, let me get 5 minutes in. My devotion, I don't really normally leave my house without my daily morning devotion. So that's happening. And then if I can have 2 minutes, of just meditation from that after that, then that's fine for me. So again, when it comes to self-care, if it's 5 minutes, it's better than nothing at all. And then, you know, that becomes habit too. The more you don't do something, the more it fades away, the more, now it's not happening at all. So making that time to do something, if it's 2 minutes, so what? You was with yourself, you was mindful with yourself for those 2 minutes.
That's a good point you made. I was just thinking, Celeste, that I do like the 5, 5, and 5 sometimes. So 5 minutes of devotional time, maybe 5 minutes of meditation, and 5 minutes of journaling, like my thoughts processing sometimes. Like, hey, that might be the start of your waking up 15 minutes earlier than you normally do, to take that time to set your day and your focus. Like they said, what is your intent for today? And a lot of times when I don't set my intent, it's all chaos and crazy, everything happening real fast. So when we set the intent and like we have a clear goal, or what we want in mind, we're creative beings. We can have those things, come to us. So that's a self-care in itself, taking that time for you to be your best self.
Right. And do healthy self-care. Overeating, is not self-care, binging things that, aren't good for you, like that's not self-care. Like make smart, healthy choices when it comes to your self-care. Because if it's something that you feel bad about later, then that probably wasn't self-care. If you go to the gym, that's fine. Go to the gym, but don't overdo it. Like don't overexert yourself because you're trying to look like, I don't know, The Rock. Like The Rock he comes from that family. Like his father and grandfather was wrestlers. So don't think that you're gonna look like him overnight. You know what I'm saying? Don't go in there overdoing it. Like be smart about it. Do it with a plan, like earlier, like we said, with goals. Like set you small goals, because some people are like, what is this self-care thing? Like, I don't have time for that. Well, guess what? Let me tell you, if you're the person that don't have time for self-care, you're the person that don't have time to meditate, you are definitely the person that needs to do it because you don't have time for it. And you don't want to create, have a life like where you don't have time for yourself. Like we give ourselves to so many people, like Krista and I, and so many of you, you in this helping profession, it was just your gift. You're just a helper. You're just a giver, and we give so much. We have to pour back into ourselves. I am probably the biggest extrovert on the planet. But let me tell you, when I'm
Extrovert, introvert. I'm low key behind the scenes, but I turn on the extrovert when I need to.
right. And so when I'm home, I am like completely opposite. Like I'm turned off. I'm like, I'm doing things, I'm self-caring, reading, I'm meditating, to put back into me because I put out so much every day. And, if you have a life like that, it's important for us. If you have a busy life, it's important for busy people to make time for themselves, because if you're busy, it's probably because you're doing so much for others. So be smart about, your self-care. And then lastly, when it comes to self care, do it even when you feel good. If you're doing it so much, if you create a routine, if you have a schedule, if you're setting goals, you probably feel good about yourself, and keep doing it. Like, it's a lifestyle. Before you know it, it'll become you. Self-care be like so natural to you. You won't have to think about, oh, what am I doing for self-care today? Like, it just becomes
Become
part
must.
of your lifestyle. So we hope that, in the midst of all of this, that you are making time for yourself. And I think for the most part, people are, like, they're learning things about themselves, they're growing in this process. And I just can't wait to hear, like, all the stories, what happened during COVID, or what I learned about myself. Oh, that might be a good book or something, or a blog. Like, what did I learn about myself during quarantine 2020?
Well, I learned a lot. Limitations, definitely, which leads us into that social support. When we feel isolated, when we feel like, man, I'm forced, like, Celeste said, forced to stay home, now is the time to have, what does my social support look like? Is it family? Is it friends? Are you a part of a certain group, or some, involvement in the community? So when we have those things in place, it helps us to fulfill our emotional, tangible, informational, and social needs. That's very important. So the benefits of incorporating social support, for one, it improves our physical health. Definitely, I think when we're less stressed, our physical health is thriving, and we feel secure in what we're doing. We're not like insecure about things. Also, our, like, we harp on the mental wellness, the mental well-being is going to be, we're not depressed, we're not having high anxiety because we don't have anyone to talk to, or to bounce ideas off of. Um, Greater resiliency, for you military folks, y'all probably know that word pretty well. But I think being able to get through obstacles and challenges, and feeling good about yourself, your self-worth and self-esteem will increase when we have social support. We feel like, oh, I have something that is helping me to grow, and just overall greater life satisfaction. I can definitely attest to having to have a social support. I'll use the example when we go through the types of social support. So the first one I wanted to talk about, emotional support. Whew, that's like, we're helpers, right? If you're an essential profession and you're giving constantly, that does take a lot from you, and you may need that emotional support from somewhere, whether it's family, friends, community, or group. So this helps us with managing our emotions. It helps us to reduce stress, anger, depression, um, just being able to talk about things, and finding someone to listen to your problems. I find that, as a counselor, the counselor needs support as well. We're human, right? So I think whatever I'm teaching, I need to be practicing that as well. Tangible support is practical stuff. Can I ask somebody for assistance? Something happened in my car, or financial assistance. Do I have that person to go to? A family member, or am I going to suffer in silence? That's not good to just sit there. And then informational, maybe we need additional resources to be our best self, or I'm trying to learn about something. Do I have access to that, or a person that can get that to me? Then the last one is social needs. Yeah, socially, that was one of my goals this semester. In school, doctoral program. It's rough. It's tough, mentally, and I have to be present with clients. I have to be present with my family, and so my goal was, I'm doing schoolwork. I'm like, okay, I have to incorporate social, my friends, spend time with them, and significant others and whomever, spend time doing those basic needs of love, belonging, and connectingness. That's important to me. Let me say that, like, again, I feel like in my spirit, we need to say love, belonging, connectedness. That's important, part of those social needs, and feeling secure and content in that process. So a few ways to build your social support. Let's say you don't have those. one, attend to your existing relationships. So we shouldn't be just trying to create all these new relationships if we're not managing and having healthier current relationships. So reaching out to family, friends, checking in on them. Hey, I'm just seeing how you're doing. Text message, FaceTime. I mean, now we're all at home. We got all the time, right? Like, can't lie and say, oh, I have to be somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Where do you have to be? HEB? I have to be at the park, So, yeah, increase your community involvement. So if maybe you can support something online, joining a next one is attending a support group. They have so many groups now, and we offer different groups as well. Through Positive Living, Butterflies Prospering Wellness Company, we want to offer those supports as well. But maybe in your community, you find something that's supportive for you. And then maybe professional support. That's very important, that you feel like maybe on your job that you have that support so that you can do a good job. You don't feel like, oh, I'm miserable coming into work or I don't have anyone to talk to about work related things. Um, so to help even with solving problems, that's important. So just wanted to kind of go over that, and we'll just kind of wrap up. I know this video was pretty long. Hope that you guys will take some of these self-care tips, social support tips, and run with it and apply it during this challenging time, this, the new normal. And hopefully we'll be back at, face to face with each other soon.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for tuning in. Check out our channels, Positive Living, 21 Days of Positive Living on Facebook, Instagram, Butterflies Prospering Wellness Company on Facebook and Instagram. Follow us. Tell us your thoughts. Thank you, and have a safe, blessed weekend.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.